anything meaningful and important isn't immediate.
We want to microwave everything.
Oh yeah,
right?
like
30
seconds. We want to go to the store and buy an apple. We don't want to plant a seed, and we don't want to wait for it to grow, and we don't want to wait 5 years till the fruit is actually worth eating. Like, those things are tough, but it's funny. Even the way the song is written and the subject matter of it just reminds me, like, okay, we're in this for the long haul. We're playing the long game here. We want to finish. We don't want to start the race faithfully. We do want to do that. We want to finish the race faithfully. The best things in life take time.
Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken.
Hey, I'm Keith Stevens with Pat Barrett today, talking about his music and the powerful story behind the song Good, Good Father, and the many years that went into writing the song Build My Life.
I love that song.
I love that song.
I love that song.
Hey, Pat, thanks for being here. I loved last time you were here and you told me the story of Good, Good Father, and you told me about where you wrote it and where you were. And I remember it to this day. You've got to share that again.
So wait, which aspects of it?
Because you were in the front porch.
Oh yeah, okay, right.
Was it your parents' house?
It was, well, no, it was not my parents' house,
Okay.
but I was thinking, it's funny because I just become a dad recently in the last, the 2 years leading up to it. And I was in the front room of the house.
The house,
literally that Megan and I bought, and I scratched it down on a piece of paper, and I felt like all the verses, they just fell out in 5 minutes, but usually the things that happen that quickly have been stirring for years, and I've heard 1,000 stories of what they think you're like. At the time, I was leading worship at all these different conferences, different denominations, and I'm becoming a dad myself, and everyone's got a different opinion of what God is like, and even if it's nuanced and little, but it was enough that I was just dealing with that. I wanted to be the kind of father that was going to introduce my kids to the most important relationship in their life,
Right.
And so that song was just came
That's
out
all
of that
day.
heart all day.
That's all day, man.
And I had a full circle moment with that a few years ago. Someone asked me, like, do you have like a memory of one of your favorite times leading any of your songs? And actually, my grandfather passed away years ago, and at his memorial service, I'm there with our family. He was such a big part of our family. The person leading the service sang Good, Good Father, and I watched my grandmother lift her hands in worship. I'm thinking about, because it all came from this family place for me anyway, to have experienced a song or been a part of the song that could help my grandmother walk through the loss and still find trust and faith, and it's your family, it's the greatest
And they're
privilege
singing
of my life.
your lyrics. They're
Crazy.
singing your
yeah,
song.
I was undone. I couldn't, you don't know in those moments when you're just like talking to God and sharing things, how the impact of what it'll be. And, I'm thinking about anyone who's listening too, that's like, well, this is what my life looks like. What can God do with that? My question is, what can't God do with that? When you just feel like you step out and you're faithful with what you have, and you make an effort to be a light. What can't he do with that? And
Amen.
That's what I felt. It felt like a miracle.
One of my memories is being at Red Rocks out in Denver and seeing you perform. You remember that at all?
Yeah.
And I turn around and I look, and people are on their feet and they're worshiping, and I turn around and I look, and a couple rows back, it's your mom and dad.
Yeah.
Come
the best.
on.
They're so proud.
How did that make you feel knowing that they're out there? And I actually
Oh my
was
gosh.
close to them. You probably couldn't see them from the stage as much with the lights in your eyes, but I could see them and they were just beaming for you.
Yeah, well, my dad's from Baltimore. I could probably hear him. He's got some volume when he sings. I got a text from my mom 2 weeks ago, and I had sent her just a bunch of demos of songs I'm working on right now.
Great.
And she sent this message back of how proud she was and the way these songs have helped her worship and see God. I just started bawling.
Mm-hmm.
And I just realized, like, wow, I turned 40 this year. At this age, it still matters hearing my mom say, like, I'm so proud of you, and my dad, they're the same way. There's a support there. Sometimes you forget how much it means, or you think it's assumed, but when they go out of their way to say it, I mean, it's like, in certain ways, it feels like I'm, 10 again.
Yes.
And
we need that.
I've always felt loved and supported by them, and what does it mean to me, them being out there and feeling the world?
Yeah.
Just seeing things affect your family is just so precious.
Those are rocks, those are pillars.
Yeah.
It's like having these cinder blocks underneath your house holding up your whole structure. And when you have that, we just assume, right? We all have that, right?
Yeah.
We all got that. Everybody's mom and dad does that. And then I realize, oh man, maybe it's not true.
Yeah.
And maybe not everybody does have that. And I've thought about that recently in my life over the last years. What would it have been like if I didn't have a dad who said, Keith, I love you and I care about you. I'm proud of you. And he just told me that at 83 yesterday, and I'm 58.
Wow.
And so I'm like, I still need to hear it.
Yeah.
You young bucks at 40,
Yeah.
Hey, that's nothing. But I say, it's crazy. And so now that, my precious wife is home in heaven, I'm like, I got to get to Daniel out in California. I got to tell him, I got to show up as his dad and say, I love you.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I got to tell Matthew in Los Angeles, I'm proud of you.
Yes.
And you're going to make it. I got to tell David here, you got to stop over my house because we got to do some guy time and hang out together and snowboard or whatever. And I'm proud of you. And I got to tell Thomas, who's 22, we were lifting weights in the gym, and I say, I'm so proud of you. Because I realized it never goes out of style, and they need that like fuel in the tank. If I need it, they need it, and all our kids do. And so for our listeners, I tell them, if they don't have a mom or dad, or you don't have one, I say, I'm proud of you, and you're going to make it. And I let them know. And because our Father God is a father to the fatherless.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he is that refuge. And I love that your music speaks hope and speaks life. Can you give us a little good Father? Can you give us a little bit of that?
Of course I can.
We like that. Benjamin, are you all right with that?
I'm great
He
with
does,
that.
does a little good Father.
I'm doing I'm tuned down, so let's do it in G.
What kind of guitar do we have? Is this a
This is a
J?
Gibson. This is a Gibson
right?
Hummingbird right here.
Hummingbird. Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Yeah, I just got a new pickup put in it.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. I just put whatever in this guitar that Benjamin tells me to. That's
He
how
knows.
it works. Yeah, he does know.
He knows what to do.
He does know.
It's a nice Hummingbird guitar.
Thank you.
Those are gold right there.
I love this. This thing has seen so many different states and cities, and
I have, and this is one of my little memorabilia, but I can tell you guys this
What is
because I have an autographed Hummingbird from Emmylou Harris.
do you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Emmylou Harris autographed it for me. It's pretty cool, and that's why I know the guitar. I never play it because I keep it up.
It's just up there.
It's just no one's touching it.
That's where it belongs.
I'm not playing that. That's right.
That's awesome.
All right, Pat.
Oh, I've heard 1,000 stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard the tender whisper of love in the dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're a good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Oh, and I me searching for answers far and wide, but I know that we're all searching for answers. Only you provide, 'cause you know just what we need before we say your word. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Because you are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. You are perfect in all of your ways. Oh, you're perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. 'Cause you're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am.
Thank you, guys. Thank
Yeah.
you, Pat, so much.
Oh, thanks
It's
for having us.
beautiful,
Thank you.
beautiful. That's so great. That's, I've learned in my life is, anybody can sing the words, say the words. It's the anointing behind the words that makes it connect and powerful. And that's what you have.
Wow, thank you.
And it's beautiful. So, well, you wrote it. So there it is. It should be that way. And that's what I think is the difference. And that's what's great about it. So thank you. Build My Life. We've got to talk about it. It's such a powerful song, and we share about it on the radio all the time and play this song and building your life. And it's kind of interesting because now, that's several years back, but now you are building on top of that. And you're evolving. Do you feel you're evolving a lot as a musician, as an artist, and if so, how?
Yeah, I do. I feel like in a lot of ways I'm becoming more comfortable in my own skin. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if there's it's not necessarily like a conscious and concerted effort, but I can tell at times I can look back and say like, oh wow, there were times where I caused myself a lot of anxiety and stress because I was trying to be someone else, or put on Saul's armor, so to speak, or whatever, or try to do what God's called me to do, but trying to do it pretending to be somebody else.
Right.
And I think there was a point in my life, and it's gradual. Like I think some miracles are slow, and this feels like one of them. That's like, okay, every day feels like there's a little spotlight, and there are times I'm talking to somebody, I can just feel that nudge, like, oh wow, you're like, don't worry about what they think about you, just worry about connecting and loving this person in front of you. Yeah, and there's a change there, and I felt that it's coming out in my music a little bit. There's songs on the most recent album that are just really, Beautiful Life is one of them. There's a playfulness and a joy to it, but also with the weightiness of how complicated life can be sometimes. There's another song called Every Good Thing. Of course, is every good thing in my life comes from you. And it's played in a way that my kids would love. And I think there was a time in my life a few years ago, I would have been nervous to put out songs like that, or a little insecure, because maybe they weren't as intense, but I think God takes joy really seriously.
It's great. Yes.
I think he loves
it's pretty
it.
important.
And I have a lot of thankfulness in my life. And it's easy sometimes to see all the things that aren't happening. But it's amazing when you just give thanks to God for what you have. It's like the miracle of the fish and the loaves. Jesus lifts his hands to God, has what is not enough to feed 5,000 people in his hand, and he gives thanks, and all of a sudden it's enough. So I think there's something in that miracle that that in little ways is happening in my life sometimes. Or I wake up, I'm like, God, thank you so much for my kids. Thank you for our family. Thank you for the songs that have happened in the past. And, every song I write, 99% of every song I write is so bad. For the 1% that ever make it out, I'm thankful for that. But I'm just saying, like, there's like you surrender the outcome in that way, and you just live today with God, and you live off the daily bread without trying to be too concerned with will there be bread on the ground tomorrow?
Without striving, yeah,
which is
so true.
Which is a practice,
It's so hard to do, and I don't know why it takes us so long in life to be ourselves. Like you said, you don't have to be anybody
Why
else.
is that?
I don't know why, but it takes forever.
Yeah.
Like I'm finally thinking I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Like really.
Like we get it when we're kids.
Really?
We unlearn it after that. Like we're talked out of it.
8th grade, we unlearn it.
Yeah, like my 6-year-old has no problem being himself.
Right.
For sure. Little Cash Man. He's just he's such a joy and a delight, and I'm trying my best to not I want to give him as little to unlearn as possible,
Sure.
So
What's the hardest thing about what you do for a living? What you do as an artist? Because it sometimes feels like maybe you have to be on all the time.
Yeah.
Well, and when we talk about you don't have to be somebody else, I mean, I could think about with the radio, who do I emulate listening to on radio growing up? And, I want to be like them, well, of course I start out maybe that way, but you want to be yourself. So for you, with what you do, what's the hardest part of your job?
Sincerity. Like even sitting with you, if I can be like really transparent, sitting with you and not having an end goal of like, I just hope Keith likes me, because then I'm actually not here.
Right.
I'm the version of me that I want you to see, or that I expect that you would want to see. And sometimes with music and being in a room leading worship, that mindset is like it's sneaky because it goes by other names, And I've learned and I am learning when I feel that alarm go off, and I'm like, I'm saying something because I want someone to like me, and so now that tells me I'm actually not being who God has called me to be,
Right.
And so I want to. I have to think about that a lot. I want to write songs I don't want to write songs because I want you to like it. I want to write songs because they help me commune with God and.
Right.
Whether they're released or not. The majority of every song I write will not be released, but there was a moment that I needed to find a connection and be honest with God. And I think when sincerity is a part of that, and we're being honest and truthful and not trying to pretend,
right on,
beautiful and miraculous things happen there in that space. Even relationally, like just, wow, it feels, all of a sudden you feel like the eternal qualities of life are present.
Yes, totally. And I think it's because you're plugged in. When you're plugged into the source, when you're plugged into Jesus in your life, when you have that, then it's filling you, so you have that sincerity. I think that's when I will go off track if I'm not plugged in.
Yeah, totally.
Like, get plugged in,
I'm the
man.
king of going off track.
I'll go off track. So I need to stay plugged in, stay authentic. So anything else on Build My Life that you want to share about?
Yeah, well, I mean, Build My Life is such a... It's funny to me because the song took so long to be written, over years. But it's not like a complicated song.
Not at
I know
all.
it's almost like embarrassing saying that, but it was one of those songs that like wasn't ready right away. And a lot of life feels like that. Like, this is going to take time. Life takes time.
Yeah.
But also anything meaningful and important isn't immediate.
We want to microwave everything.
Oh yeah,
right?
like we want to
seconds.
we want to go to the store and buy an apple. We don't want to plant a seed, and we don't want to wait for it to grow, and we don't want to wait 5 years till the fruit is actually worth eating. Like those things are tough, but it's funny. Even the way the song is written and the subject matter of it just reminds me, like, okay, we're in this for the long haul. We're playing the long game here. We want to finish. We don't want to start the race faithfully. We do want to do that. We want to finish the race faithfully, and the best things in life take time, and God is slow to our standards.
He's not in a rush.
He's not in a rush.
No.
We're in a rush. He's not. He's very comfortable with his pace. So Build My Life helps me get into that cadence.
So good. Can you give us a little bit of that?
Yeah.
Just give us some of it.
Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. You're worthy, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. And we sing, holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. And I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me.
So awesome, so awesome. Thank you, Pat.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Excellent. Thank you, Pat.
Thanks, Keith.
Thank you for your time today, and thanks for sharing about your songs and your story and your life. We're excited. We stand on tiptoe to see what God's going to do next.
Wow. Thank you.
I Love That Song is a Wow God production, a ministry of the University of Northwestern St. Paul. Discover more at wowgod.com.
I love that song.
I love that song.
I love that song.